What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well. It is Sunday, which means it is time for yet another weekly market profile forecast for both the ES and NQ futures markets. Now, before we dive in, I want to ask you guys, if you like this content, please feel free to like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time we post videos here on the channel. And with that said, let's dive into the charts here and discuss some NQ session profile. So what I will be looking at first and foremost, as usual, is acceptance above value from Friday. So reaction to value from Friday. Currently, we are operating just above the value area high from Friday at 12,689. So my thought is, if we can get acceptance above value from Friday in tomorrow's regular trading hour session, very likely going to get a test of the Thursday into Friday overnight high at 767, and then a subsequent test of Friday's high right around 12,810. So that is my most immediate level that I will be looking towards on the upside, or my two most immediate levels rather on the upside. And I suppose we could throw in Thursday's high at 735. And those are going to be major areas that if we can work above, we're very likely going to see some upside pressure into some weekly market profile levels that we will discuss shortly. Now, if we cannot get accepted above value, basically above 12.7K on NQ, then I will be looking for a move down to the POC from Friday, which also coincides very closely to the overnight low from Thursday into Friday, right around 12,650. So I'll be looking for if 689 breaks to the downside, I'll be looking for a move down to about 12,650-ish. And I'll zoom in here so you guys can see this profile a little bit better. So here's 12,650. That's Friday's POC. And a break below Friday's POC very likely gets us a move into Friday's value area low. And a break below that very likely gets us to Friday's low at 569. So you can see here that we have Friday's value low at 599, basically 12.6K. And then we have the low just below that at 569.5. So those are some major areas to look at. And I believe that, the value area high is basically going to be used as a line in the sand moving into the beginning of next week. So that is, why it's important for me to pay attention to reaction to the value, because if the larger players are buying above prior value, that means that larger time frame players are viewing that as a fair price to purchase, which means they're probably thinking that price is going to go higher. Okay, so that's why the market profile can be such a powerful tool, is because it allows you to see where larger time frame players or larger players in general are viewing, or how they are viewing price. And typically, if you see buying above value, that's bullish. If you see selling below value, that's bearish, right? If large players are selling in an area that's supposed to be, cheap price, which is lower value, that's not a good sign. And if we can see the opposite, where buyers are buying in an area that's supposed to be expensive, that is a good sign for further upside pressure. So that's just a little dive into auction market theory for you guys, which I would highly recommend you learn more about if you are interested in, using market profile to its full potential. So, with that said, if we do get rejection and we get some serious downside pressure, we do have a naked POC down here on the session profile at 12,238. Obviously, we're at 692 now, so we got quite a ways to go before we get down here. But, break below 69 likely gets us to 12.5K. And then we kind of just play price dominoes getting down to that naked POC if we do see selling pressure increase as the week develops. So that is basically my thought process on NQ moving into the week. Let's take a look at the weekly profile real quick, and I'll show you guys what I'm thinking. Pretty similar situation. We're holding above not last week's high, but the prior week, the week of March 6th. So, holding above 616 is pretty bullish in itself, and especially moving and holding above last week's high at 12,811 is quite bullish, and very likely gets us a test of these prior weekly highs from February. So the high of the week from February 13th is 12,886. I'll be looking for a move there if we get acceptance above 811, and then acceptance above 886 likely gets us a move to the prior weekly high from February 6th at 12,950-ish. So that is going to be where I'm looking. And obviously we have, that early February weekly high, February 2nd weekly high to be exact, at 13,080. So that's, we could see some upside pressure testing these prior weekly highs and continuation of the change in behavior back to the upside, especially if we can hold, even if we can hold above value from last week. That's bullish overall. I mean, holding above last week's high is extremely bullish. So, I think it's important to take all of this with a grain of salt. Don't get too excited either way. I mean, it doesn't really matter when it comes down to it. Whatever direction the market goes, there's opportunity for us as long as we can be interpreting that stuff appropriately. So, with the upside in mind, if we do get some rejection, especially if we move back below 616, I'll be looking for a move into 535, 447. There's good confluence in this 447 area with the high from February 27th as well. You can see that weekly high at 459, and then last week's value high at 447. We've got a high volume node in this area too. And then the highest volume node, which is the point of control on the monthly volume composite profile, is lining up with the week of March 6th point of control at 12,315. So I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit here, remove my drawings, clean it up a little bit. And you can see here's the monthly volume POC right here. And here is the POC from the week of March 6th. So there's some great confluence there. A lot of business done in that area over the last month or so. So obviously we're much higher than that right now. But if we do start to see some downside pressure through these levels, it could be that, prices getting sucked into this high volume node. And that's the beauty of market profile. It just gives us areas where there is likely dense liquidity, and where there is dense liquidity, there is typically strong reaction in price. And that's the beauty of it. That's why we can take so much high probability trade opportunity at market profile levels every single day, because you can simply just mark off profile levels, watch the reaction. And if you get a setup that you like, if you have a lot of high probability checkboxes in your favor, then you have a setup in front of your eyes. And, it's just a rinse and repeat process at that point. So, with that in mind, it is going to take some patience, very likely, to see if we're going to remain bullish and, remain above value for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. So basically we're above value for the last month, which is bullish overall. So it's going to be very important to see if we can hold that. If we can hold above value for the last month, that increases the probability significantly that we see further upside. Okay, so with NQ analysis in mind, ES is not too different. One thing that is different, though, is Friday's high is not the weekly high. So what I will be looking at on ES is actually, really I want to see a move above 4,008 or 4,009 if possible. But technically our regular trading hours high from last week is 4,000 even. So you can see that here on the weekly profile. So what I will be looking for is first and foremost, continued acceptance above value from Friday, which was the same on NQ. But I want to see acceptance above Friday's high, which likely gets us, up at least for a test of Thursday's high, which is also the value high at 4,000 even. And then we also have the overnight high from Thursday into Friday at 4,009 and a quarter. So, upside pressure, this is really going to be the major line in the sand level. We could really even draw a zone between 4,000 and 4,010, and a move above that very likely gets us to further upside levels on the weekly, which we will look at shortly. And rejection from this area and a push below back into value likely gets us moves into Friday's POC at 39.50, Friday's value low at 39.40, and then, lower 39.32, which is Friday's low. And I will point out here that we have a naked point of control on ES as well at 38.88. So if we do see some stronger downside pressure through Friday's value area low, through Friday's low, and obviously we're going to have to work through Thursday's low and the Wednesday into Thursday overnight low here at 38.95-ish, we are very likely to hit that 38.88 level. But one level at a time. Again, we are quite a ways away at the moment, but it is always important to know what is out there so we could be prepared. So let's pop over to the weekly. I'll show you guys something interesting that I think is worth noting is we're also really close to a weekly naked point of control on ES. So at 40.20.75, about 50 points from where we are right now, we have last week's weekly point of control. Or I'm sorry, the week of March 6th weekly point of control. So not last week, but the prior week at 40.20. So if we can remain above value from last week, which is basically right here around 39.65-ish, then that increases the probability significantly that we do get a test of 40.20. And, we are not too far away from that. And that's also the monthly volume composite point of control as well. You can see that right there. Technically, monthly volume composite POC is at 40.24 1/4. So just 4 points above the POC from the 6th. And you can see that this is why this is the monthly volume composite, is because we have multiple point of controls from weekly market profiles stacking within about 5 points of each other. So March 6th weekly POC, 40.2075. February 27th weekly POC, 40. I think I might have misspoke. The March 6th POC from the weekly session is 40.2075, and then the February 27th weekly POC is 40.2550. And then we have, of course, the monthly volume composite point of control. So we could draw a zone. We should draw a zone right there to keep in mind that that's a very important area. So if we do revisit that area, especially if we move there and then, move above it and come back down and test it as support, that's very bullish as well. Testing that area, moving above, testing it as support, very likely, further upside pressure into 40.60, 40.90-ish, and so on. So that's going to be very interesting to see if we can get up there and test it, what kind of reaction we get there. And on the downside, obviously, back into value from last week, likely gets us to this other high volume node here. You can see this right here, between 39.45, 39.55-ish, and then down into this 3900 level, which is the value low from the 6th of March weekly profile, and even lower. So if we see, move down into this area, very, very important area to hold, because we have single prints on the weekly profile down here from last week, which means it will be very easy, or much easier, for price to move through this area, as it is much weaker. There is less price structure, and that is where we opened last week as well. So if we revisit this area, that could be considered a potential change in behavior. So keep an eye out for that, and just be careful trying to catch a falling knife if you see price down around this 38.40 level. So with that said, it should be a very interesting week with significant high probability trade opportunity, as long as we are able to stay patient, stay even keel, and focus on checking the boxes. Do not focus on the outcome, simply focus on the process, and the outcome takes care of itself. That's how I like to think about it, and that thought process has truly helped me beyond words in my own trading journey. So I hope that it helps you guys as well. So with all that in mind, let's check out the daily and weekly charts real quick. Nothing too major. I just wanted to point out the little bit of difference that we're seeing between ES and NQ overall on the daily and weekly charts. So NQ you'll see is a little bit more bullish than ES is looking like, as we don't technically have a local low on the weekly yet. So we really need to close above the prior weekly high at 4,925. That will confirm a local low on the weekly, which would increase the probability of a move up to 4,200-ish. So that's what I would be looking for from a weekly perspective. Now, if we go down to the daily chart, you can see similar scenario, but we technically do have a local low confirmed here on this candle close from, what day was this? The 16th. So as long as, we kind of hold this low and we don't violate, especially like the 38.40, 38.50-ish level, then, I think structure is holding pretty well in this area. But, if we look at the NQ daily chart, you can see that we've already confirmed the local low on the daily, and we've gotten follow through, and we're closer to an area of resistance. I will say that the oscillators on NQ daily chart look like they are primed for more upside. We just did curl and cross to the upside on the BBWP as well. For those of you guys not aware, we just released the volatility pack, which you can now purchase on the tradingnetwork.io. So these are some of my favorite indicators that I have really been using tremendously, especially over the last 6 months or so, and they have really just added another dimension to my system that wasn't really, existing before. So I'm very, very grateful that we're able to get you guys access to these now as well. So check out the website, thetradingnetwork.io. I'll put it in the description as well below. and you guys can use these oscillators yourselves. So with that said, this daily chart looks pretty good for more upside. And if I go back to ES daily chart, ES daily looks pretty primed. So the oscillators do look good for more upside, but ES is not quite as bullish as NQ overall. So I just wanted to point that out. Just stay patient, mark off those levels that we discuss in these market profile videos, and they can be your guide to, the coming weeks, regardless of the directional conviction, or if there is any directional conviction. So just wanted to point that out, and I hope you guys find value in that as well. So with that said, guys, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to watch this content. If you do enjoy what you see and you find value in this stuff, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time we post videos here on the channel. If you want to learn more about what we do here at The Trading Network, check out our website at thetradingnetwork.io, where you can purchase access to our most popular offering, the TTN Pro Trader Bundle, which includes lifetime access to our private Discord, where we live stream our trading Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It also includes access to our Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, where we teach our varying strategies for multiple market conditions. And last but not least, it includes the Trading Network Proprietary Indicator Package. We also have our newly released Volatility Pack, which is available as an add-on to the Pro Trader Bundle, so you can have the complete package for a discounted price for buying it all at once as well. In addition to the Pro Trader Bundle, we also offer one-on-one trader mentorship as a more tailored and catered experience to your strengths and weaknesses as a trader. If you guys have any questions about anything I've discussed in this video, including the products on our website, please feel free to drop a comment down below. You can also email us at info@thetradingnetwork.io or shoot us a DM on Instagram at the.trading.network, and we will get back to you guys as soon as possible and help any way we can. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch this content, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.